Well, good morning. It is the 27th of September 2021, and welcome to another daily devotional. This morning I was in Philippians chapter 2. I want to read to you from verse 12. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now not only in my presence, but much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you both to will and to work for his good pleasure. In the space of this two verses, it mentions work three times. Paul talks about work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You can't work out someone else's salvation. You're responsible for your soul. And then it says, God works in you and both to will and to work for his good pleasure. One time it talks about us working, twice it talks about God working. See, we need to understand that we're saved by grace and not by works so that no one can boast. But it does say, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. How we live our lives, as we work out this tremendous salvation that God gives to us as he works in us, we do so with fear and trembling. You see, the fear of the Lord, it isn't just an Old Testament concept, it's a biblical concept. Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's a safeguard to us. We need to understand what it is to fear the Lord. Because the fear that we're talking about, it's not a toxic fear. It's a reverential fear. But it's still a genuine fear. Because we don't want to disappoint him. We don't want to displease him. We don't want to be apart from him because he's working in us. Jesus says, listen, don't be afraid of man who can kill the body but do nothing else. Be afraid of the one who is in heaven who can kill not just the body but the soul as well. And so we have this healthy fear. And this fear of the Lord, it prevents us from doing things because we don't want to disappoint him. But it motivates us to do other things because we want to please him. This is not a bad fear, but it's how we work out our salvation. With fear and trembling, considering as our first thought, what would God want us to do? How can I please God? How can God be honored through my decisions today? The previous verses of this chapter tell us about Jesus, who being in very nature God did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but humbled himself and took on the very nature of a servant. In that, we see both the majesty of God and the intimacy of God. He is both transcendent and majestic, and the universe cannot contain him. But Christ set that aside to become Emmanuel, God with us. And so we work out our salvation with fear and trembling because he is at work on the inside of us. Have a great day.